Hi guys, it's Erica from Brains to Beauty, and today I am bringing you my top 5 foundation for oily skin. Yes, and this is in collaboration with my friend Tara Michelle. You know her as War Paint with Tara. Make sure to go check her out. She's doing hers on combo oily skin, and we actually live in completely different climates. She is in the dry side of California and I am in the crazy humid side of Florida. Yeah, we're on the totally opposite coasts, and the beautiful part about this is actually going to be a series. This is like our collab reunion, because we did a collab like over a year ago, and we've been friends for a really long time, and we haven't collabed since. So this time we're gonna do a bunch of collabs to kind of make up for the time that we haven't collabed together. So we're gonna do top 5 foundations. We're probably gonna do, I think, top 5 blushes next, and then we'll figure out what we're doing after that. But we're gonna do a few of these, and I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go in order of what I'm gonna call, like, not necessarily my favorites, but the ones that I reach for the most. And kind of like the coverage, from like the lightest coverage to like the highest coverage, or full coverage is probably the better way to describe that. The first foundation I want to talk about is this guy right here. This is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous Fresh Complexion Oil-Free Foundation. This is in the shade 220 Soft Honey, and I do not know my MAC shade. I don't wear MAC foundation, and I will be showing other foundations so you guys can see what my other shades are. If you do have shade questions, I will also leave them in the down bar. But anyway, this foundation, I do have a foundation routine video on this guy if you guys want to see it. And this, I would say, is light coverage, light maybe to medium. I really don't even feel like this is a medium coverage foundation. This does not work if you have really dark spots, acne, and or like super crazy hyperpigmentation or discoloration of the skin slash rosacea, because this really is light coverage. This is what I call the weekender. Yes, we are gonna call this the weekender. This is the foundation that I wear on my face on days where I'm just running errands and I really don't care what I look like. I just don't want to look like death. I haven't been using that this much lately because I have been breaking out with crazy acne, and I actually just filmed a how I cover up my acne. Underneath all of this, there is a bunch of pimples that you guys can't see. They do exist, but I did do a video on that, and so I can't use this foundation right now because this is just not cutting it. But when my skin wasn't so bad, I definitely reach for this, especially on the weekends. Also, I did forget to mention this is matte, and it does last pretty long time. If you want to know more details, go check out that foundation routine, which I will link down below. The next foundation is this guy right here, and we're gonna call this I don't know what we're gonna call this. This is the one I wear for work. This is my work foundation. I was gonna do like some super cool like name, like the Weekender, but I don't have one. The Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless is in 230 Natural Buff. I do share the same shades as What Would Lizzie Do, so if you're wondering about that, we wear the same brown biscuit foundation. It's actually pretty awesome because then when we buy each other makeup, we already know it's going to work out for each other. This is when I need a little bit more coverage. This is medium for sure, and you can build up to full coverage, but it's definitely a medium, and even with like 2 layers, I still feel like it's kind of a medium. It doesn't cover up all the redness and dark spots on its own. It definitely needs a concealer or a lot of layers. I do have a video comparing this guy and this guy. If you guys want to see it, I'll link it down below. It does show you the comparison of the coverage. I definitely like this because this is also a mattifying foundation for my oily skin. I will say it does not last very long. My face will get crazy oily by the end of the day with this foundation, so definitely gonna need to blot with this or just deal with it, which is usually what I do. By the end of the day, I don't care, I'm leaving work anyway, so I'll just let it get oily and just leave it at that. But this is definitely great if you want to start off matte and have a good coverage. I'm a fan. The next 2 foundations, and I'm showing them together because to me they are essentially the exact same formula. The difference between these 2 is I can't find a good color in this guy. This is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation. I really love it. It's got super high coverage and full coverage, and it lasts all day. The L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte is the exact same way. It is full coverage and it lasts all freaking day. Both of these foundations, I don't need to use a setting spray. I do anyway though, because it is so humid here. I use a primer and I set it with setting spray and powder. And I will say they are both super matte. Like sometimes they're scary matte that you almost look really fake, and sometimes can almost appear cakey, but if you use a good primer and a good moisturizer, you can avoid that. And if you use a setting spray does add a little bit of moisture to the face, so it also helps as well. They are full on, like ridiculously matte. So if you're super oily and you want long lasting foundation, this is it. I've sweat through this foundation. I've gotten oily and you would never know, because my face doesn't get oily through this. Like it still keeps a matte foundation. You'll touch your face and you're like, wow, I'm oily, but you don't see it because this seriously keeps you matte. It's like freaking magical. I do like the L'Oreal better, mostly because I can find it in my shade. This one I cannot. And also the CoverGirl oxidizes. Only with the warm tone shades it oxidizes. It either turns a little bit orange or a little bit darker. So a lot of times you either want to buy a shade that's slightly light and wait for it to oxidize, or just expect that your color is not going to be the same as it was at the beginning of the day to the end of the day. So that's why I like this one better. For these foundations, I have the colors Golden Tan and Warm Beige. So Golden Tan 857 and Warm Beige 845. And then the L'Oreal Infallible is in 106 Sun Beige. And then the last foundation, and my all-time, this is like my everyday foundation. I forgot to create a name for these, but the CoverGirl and Infallible are like my event makeup. Like if I am going to an event, or if I'm going to go dancing, or if I'm going to go and get photos or get photography done, photographs, what am I saying? If I'm going to do something that requires me looking flawless and amazeballs, these are my foundations. These are like my event foundations. This guy, the last guy, is my all-time go-to foundation if I don't know where I'm gonna be, if I don't know where I'm going, if I just need something. This is the one I always reach for. It is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Makeup. This is also in the shade Sun Beige, but the number is different. It's W6. That's how I knew what my shade was in the Infallible, is because I knew I wore Sun Beige and this, so I bought the Sun Beige and the Infallible. They're pretty close. The Infallible is slightly yellow, but they're pretty darn close otherwise. So with this foundation, the only reason why I don't use this for events is because it does get oily. It has a very natural finish, which is why I love this foundation. It is full coverage. Like, one layer for me is full coverage. If I have really bad acne or pimples, like, it'll actually cover that. I don't have to conceal, but eventually the redness will come through over time, which is why I am doing an acne video, because even if you have full coverage foundation, if you don't use the right color corrector underneath it, over time it will start to show through. So that's why you really want to use concealers for your trouble spots. But either way, if I don't have the time to do all of that, I love this. It is like straight up full coverage foundation. Some people might say it's medium, but it really depends on the brush you use. If you use a beauty blender, it's medium. If you use a kabuki brush, it's full coverage. If you use your fingers, it's like straight up full coverage. Like if you're willing to use your fingers, this is full coverage. It is amazing and it is super blendable. You can blend it with your hands, you can blend it with a brush, you can blend it with a sponge. It is so blendable. The other foundations dry really fast. Like ridiculously fast, that you have to move really fast, and a lot of times it's almost easier to just use your beauty blender because the moisture will help you blend it out, because if you use a brush and it dries really fast, you end up with streaks. So you got to watch out. This, not that problem. This also does not last as long as the event foundations. This one is probably comparable to the Maybelline Fit Me. It will get oily at the end of the day, and you will get shiny face, and if you touch your face it can slick off, especially if you're super uber duper oily, or if it's like really humid outside. Both of these will slick off. So definitely use a setting spray, definitely set with powder, or just carry powder with you throughout the day. If I'm on travel, this is pretty much the foundation I always go to, because it's great for all types of climates. Although I have oily skin when I go to Colorado and it is dry, The other foundations will look very cakey. This one, I can go to Colorado and be fine. I can use it here in Florida, I'm fine. I can use it in California, I'm fine. I travel a lot for work, and this has always been my go-to. Amazing. I love it. I love it. You don't understand. I actually have like 3 bottles of this. I love it that much. So anyway, that is it for my top 5 foundations. I know I went super into it, but I feel like each foundation has its own unique chemistry with your body, and what works for me might not work for you, and the things that do work for me I don't use every single day. And so I wear foundations based on the situation, what's going on with my face, and what works for me. And honestly, I want you guys to find what works for you, and whatever works for you, let me know down below, because 1, it helps me decide to buy new foundation if I haven't tried it out, or 2, it helps other subscribers if they're watching this video and they're like, this isn't applicable to me, I have dry skin. Well, who knows, maybe you guys have dry skin and you could help someone else out there. So if you guys have any comments, questions, leave them down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to thumbs up. Of course, go check out my friend Tara if you haven't already. And if you came from her channel, welcome and thank you. I'm so excited to see you guys here. And if you guys are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos so you can see the next top 5, see all my nail tutorials. 4th of July is coming, people. 4th of July nails. And of course, say hi, subscribe. Did I forget anything? Maybe not. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Erica from Brains to Beauty. Foundation. Oh my god, this is so hard to do. What? Okay. We gotta get this to work, because this is just craziness. This is hard. This is so hard. Ugh. Okay. Using the pits. It's gonna work? Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Ugly hair. Shiza, this is so hard. Okay, don't move. Just don't move. Okay, making thumbnails is way harder than it looks, people.